Today's video is all about the Empty products I've used whilst living in Australia for the last 2 years. The time has finally come for me to move out of this amazing apartment, away from this amazing view, and actually I decided to collect up all of the Empties I had. They've kind of been sitting in boxes in the bathroom or under the bed, and I didn't realize like how many skincare products I've used in only 2 years. It's insane. Luckily, some of them were used by my husband as well, so I'm just gonna blame him, but let's be honest, most of them were mine. So I'm actually going to split this video into multiple parts so you can follow along. We're going to do them in sections. I'm going to try and go in the order of my skincare routine. So I'll start with cleansers, move on to some of the hydrating toners, hydrating serums, then like lots of different active ingredients, and then eventually your moisturizers and your SPF. I have so many in each category, so you don't want to miss that. Definitely leave me a comment if you have any questions about a product that I haven't answered, and hopefully you enjoy going through the last 2 years of skincare with me. I'm Dr. Sapna. I'm a doctor who loves skincare and dermatology. I have acne prone skin, and that makes me the perfect person to talk about it. So let's start with cleansers. This is probably the biggest category because actually you end up getting through quite a lot of cleansers, and most of them are kind of like cheap and cheerful. They get used twice a day. So yeah, I end up getting through quite a few of them. 1 or 2 have also been used by my husband as well. Again, a reason why I've gotten through so many. So don't judge me. I'll kind of go through them in terms of like categories. So the first category is cleansing balm. So I've actually only got 3 here because there's been a couple that have been thrown out along the way. And just to shout out the oat cleansing balm that I knew I threw away whilst I was on holiday. I've spoken about that one a lot. That one is, again, super cheap and cheerful from the Inky list, and it just removes makeup, has a tiny bit of a grainy effect, and really useful to just exfoliate your skin, remove all your makeup, and emulsifies really well. All 3 of these are probably quite similar. The Emma Hardy one is my favorite. It has the most luxurious feel and scent to it. This is one that I've probably bought again and again, and I'd probably recommend the most. However, it is super expensive, especially compared to the Inky list one. These 2 are also quite expensive as well. I have the Elemis Pro Collagen. This one was a small little pot. I love that it comes in a small pot because that's really useful for travel as well. And these generally work out well when you're traveling because they don't tend to run or get too messy when they're quite firm like balms. I also think you can get away with not putting them in your like liquids allowance for really, really small holidays, which means you can kind of sneak in an extra product or something like that without having to worry too much. The other one I got through was the Papaya Sorbet Cleansing Balm from Glow Recipe. This one smells like much more fresh and fruitier, so if that's your vibe, that might be the one. The reason I picked all of these cleansing balms, and the same reason I go back to these types of balms, is because they emulsify really well. So what I do is I'll use the cleansing balm, really like destroy and dissolve any makeup, SPF, whatever's gone on in the day, and then you can add just a few drops of water to your hands and keep massaging your face, and it becomes like this beautiful milky texture, and that helps really, really remove anything that you've left behind in terms of makeup and skincare. All 3 of these are great choices, and they last such a long time, which is why I haven't gotten through more cleansing balms. I end up using it every day when I use my double cleanse. Out of these, the one I'd always kind of recommend is the Emma Hardy one if you want that kind of luxe experience. I know this one says papaya enzyme, which is supposedly supposed to act as a bit of an AHA. I don't think I noticed that any more than any of the other cleansing balms, because if you're using a double cleanse, you are gently exfoliating your skin anyway, so don't worry too much about that. I would just pick the cleansing balm that is most appealing for you from a price point perspective, also from what you actually like enjoy using. For me, these are kind of my favorite parts of the day, so I'm happy to spend a bit more on these. The next one, kind of in the same category, is the Jordan Samuels Skin After Show Cleanser. This one is also really great. This is perfect if you don't like sort of smelly, really, really fragrance cleansing balms. For me, I know I don't mind the fragrance. My skin can sort of tolerate it well, but if you have any issues with that, this is probably your best bet. Similarly, it really does dissolve your makeup. It really does like destroy everything that you've got on your skin, but also super, super gentle. This one probably has more of a like a light oil texture. It's still quite balmy and thick, but it becomes more loose and oily as soon as you start massaging it into your skin. Again, if you don't want to have to deal with the faff of a tub and like a spatula and stuff, this is really good because you can just squeeze it out. Perfect for travel. I think all of these are super, super effective, which is why I've definitely gotten to the end of them. Next up, I have a more like traditional oil cleanser. This is the Votary Cleansing Oil. This one comes in loads of different like flavors and scents, but the one I have is rose geranium and apricot. Again, this is quite fragrance and floral almost. So if that's not your vibe, definitely avoid this. Now, this is a really kind of traditional cleansing oil. From what I remember, it doesn't emulsify, which means it doesn't do that like milky thing that I was talking about when you add water. For me, it means I don't like it quite as much, and that's because I can't add the water to try and really cleanse off what's left on my face, and I feel like you end up with slightly oily residue left behind. A lot of people really hype this, and actually this kind of wasn't my favorite. I got through it because it was fairly expensive, so I definitely was going to finish it off, but then I felt like I had to work really hard on my second cleanse to try and remove the cleanser. So again, not that useful. I don't think I would recommend that, but definitely the other cleansing balms instead for your first step. Moving on to gel cleansers. Now that's the one I definitely have most of because I can use them morning and night, where there's all the oil-based ones I only used at night. I'll start with the two Inky List ones. These are both pretty good cleansers. Again, the Inky List, I feel like you just can't go wrong when it comes to cleansers because they have so many different choices depending on what you fancy. I don't think they were that different in terms of the effect on my skin. I feel like cleansers that are going to advertise that they brighten your skin is a bit much. I feel like they're not on your face for long enough to create any kind of effect like that, but if you're cleansing your face properly, then you will get brighter skin with that gentle exfoliation each day. I don't think they were anything special though, but I do think for the price point you can't go wrong. Both of these were great. I would definitely recommend them. This one does have some fulvic acid in it that's supposed to help brighten. I wouldn't worry about that. If you like the consistency, it's going to help. If you like the consistency, they both clean your skin well. This one, the texture felt almost identical to the CeraVe hydrating cleanser that I have next. I have no idea how many of these we've probably gotten through because they're so easy with the pump. You just have them in the shower. They're great for the whole family, whatever you want. And the super gentle gel cleanser, you literally just can't go wrong. It bubbles up just that perfect amount, which means that it just removes off your skin really easily. So zero complaints about these types of cleansers. Also, I'll say like the reason I've gotten through to the bottom of all of these products either is because I don't have the heart to throw away unused product, but also because I probably like them enough to actually use them to the end without chucking them away. Next up are a few more like slightly more interesting gel cleansers. The ones I've spoken about are not bad, but I just was never really excited about them. I mean, they were effective and they just definitely get used, but I do have a few more like more interesting ones. This one was an absolute favorite. Again, I've spoken about this before, but Allies of Skin have a bit of that kind of Sunday Riley quality to them where all the packaging, all the products just feel very luxurious, and it makes me really happy and excited to use that type of skincare. And because of that, you do end up paying a premium. So this is definitely probably the most expensive cleanser I have around, but it meant I used every single drop. It has this like almost gel texture to it that is super silky. You really enjoy massaging that into your skin. It's not oily or anything like that. It's a water-based gel, but it does just clean your skin and leave you feeling super refreshed. I love this so much. I would happily purchase this again. I have no idea why I haven't already. This one, on the other hand, I probably wouldn't repurchase. I don't think there was anything like special about it. This is the Flawless Cleanser from Dr. Sam Bunting. Again, like it's designed for super gentle use for sensitive skin. So I get that. It basically creates no bubbles. So there is zero foam in it. I'm not that keen on like really foamy cleansers like the couple of that I have here, but this one creates like nothing. So you barely even notice if it's on your skin. And the issue I have with that is that sometimes you can't tell if you've left any behind. It's just basically like the most light gel there is. Like it has almost like, you know, like hand gel texture, where it's just super light and there's like just not much to it. That is how much I've got left. But it means that it doesn't necessarily leave you with that like clean skin feeling. I think they're useful for people who have like really irritated skin. So I think Dr. Sam's line is really designed well for rosacea skin. But again, I think that I could probably tolerate something a bit more nice feeling. Probably did a good job, but again, it was just felt really hard to tell. It never left my skin like feeling clean. I have these two foam cleansers that I got through, but I say that I got through them. I think my husband definitely got through them. He prefers like slightly more traditional, these like foam cleansers that make his skin feel like extra like squeaky clean. I don't love that. This one was definitely more gentle. So the Hada Labo one, I've done a full review on this. Check out that video. But basically it's hydrating, but it is foaming, whereas this one was very foaming and didn't feel too hydrating. It felt like more of a traditional soap kind of feeling. I've done a full review on this. in a recent video about hits and misses in Korean skincare, but I just wasn't a fan of this, so I kind of gave this for him to use, but we did get through it in our house. The last one was the Ren Clear Calm Clay Cleanser. Now this is really, really unique and unusual. I haven't come across many clay cleansers like this, and I thought this is really, really brilliant. The idea of the clay is to help draw out any impurities from your clogged pores. I have a lot of that going on, so I had high hopes for this. The clay is supposed to really, really draw that out, and Ren have kind of done it in a way that doesn't dehydrate your skin. Most clay products cause dehydration, is a bit how they work. They help absorb that oil. So I found that it's really easy with clay masks to kind of just go overboard, whereas this doesn't do that at all. Super, super gentle. You can actually use this as a mask as well, which I think is really nice, especially because it is a big bottle, so you tend to have like plenty to go around. What I try to do is maybe use it as a mask and then cleanse that mask off and kind of massage it into your skin and end up using it as a bit of both. So I think that's a really like unique way to use clay for acne prone skin in a more gentle way. I definitely think I would purchase this or recommend it again for anyone who's got some acne prone skin that is a bit more on the sensitive side. I don't think this is gonna replace using like prescription skincare for acne or using BHAs as well, but this definitely kind of helps if you just get those few small impurities and congestion here and there. I think this would be a good thing to try. I hope you enjoyed part one. I'm gonna move straight into part two, where I have a whole nother bunch of empties. But if you have any questions about those products, definitely leave me a comment below and hit subscribe so you don't miss the whole series of videos.